So many words come to mind when I think about the absurdity of outlawing the simple act of sitting and lying peacefully in a public space. One word I think I'm going to actually focus on is flippant, which is not showing a serious or respectful attitude towards the situation at hand. This young woman is simply sitting on a curb. Is she seriously an issue? Perhaps this gentleman is, who has to roll everything he owns down the road. Isn't that unsettling? Or this young woman who has to rummage through garbage to survive. One of my favorites. Don't they have anything better to do, and possibly the best of all time? Can't they go somewhere else? So what is it precisely that folks are describing as, quote, problems downtown? I was fortunate to spend countless hours, many of it as a downtown ambassador, presenting that question to businesses and homeless community. This is what I found. Parking, first and foremost, gives a very good indication of the overall health and safety downtown. Next up, those loud, obnoxious, scary people walking around that people would like to disappear. Next up is your infamous blocking of sidewalks, the laws that we're not enforcing. And lastly is business owners showing up to trash and litter at their storefronts in the morning. Let's take a short break here and let you enjoy some of the performers at our downtown Chico Saturday Farmers Market. Pay attention though, there's a lesson to be learned here. And that is, the number one issue, bar none, is discrimination against the homeless community. That gentleman with the banjo was homeless. That second group wasn't. Guess who was kicked out of the market? Next one that happens all too frequently is verbal and often horrific physical assaults by non-homeless folks against the homeless population. And lastly, but not least, is a consistent message of police harassment in any community I've been to. All of this leads me to understand, as I put this video together, how classic the responses I get are to how minorities are discriminated against in communities throughout America, not just Chico. Okay, let's get to some better detail of why this law is so flippant and obviously ineffective for what the issues are downtown. Will it help parking? I don't think so. Loud, obnoxious, scary people walking around. After all, they'll still be there. It is a sit and lie law. Besides, we have laws against disturbing the peace. Enforce those. Obstructing a sidewalk. I saw what this law was intended to do. 19-year-old kid had been sitting in this one spot, away from the building, not bothering anyone, not obstructing the sidewalk. He'd been there on and off. He had a tendency to kind of talk to himself. Cops rolled up on him. They were talking to him. Had nothing they could do to this gentleman because he wasn't breaking any laws. Would sit and lie. He's now a criminal. Write him up. Move him out. And last but not least, it's certainly easy to see how a daytime ordinance isn't going to help trash and litter that occurs at night. So there you go. There's a decent overview of what the business climate looks like and how ineffectual this will be. Let's take the time now to look at the impact to the folks in our community experiencing homelessness with any proposed sit-lie law. Clearly, the issue of discrimination, which is so important to the homeless community, will go unaddressed at all with this specific law. It also discourages me tremendously to think about the additional impetus it is for folks to look down on homeless people and provide violence and hate. And lastly, on the regards to police harassment, try to find someone that's going to be ticketed for this or approached by a cop for sitting down on the sidewalk that's not going to think they're harassed. Thanks for the time, and be sure to remember, if you have a roof, be grateful.